The following program contains strong sexual content. Viewer discretion advised. Today on a Dr. Phil exclusive.
4 high school students face adult charges.
Accused of violating a 16-year-old girl.
Matt was a star high school athlete.
I was arrested and charged with second-degree rape.
She initiated the sex.
She was legally drunk.
She knew exactly what she was doing.
For the first time, the alleged victim speaks out.
Everyone shunned me at school because I took away their star football players.
The exclusive story.
Were you able to say stop?
I don't remember.
Are you saying you passed out at that point? From time to time, I will say that a show involves strong sexual content and not suitable for teenagers. Well, today I'll tell you that the show has strong sexual content and it should be required viewing for teens because it's about social judgment and how your sons and daughters can have their lives ruined in a single evening. Now, just a year ago, a story came out of Steubenville, Ohio. Remember that story? It shocked the nation. What started as a typical end-of-summer party for a group of teens wound up a nationwide scandal. Teens, drinking, social media, and football. Nowadays, it seems like a recipe for disaster. We see teens in the headlines more and more being accused of outrageous sexual conduct. The latest story is out of North Carolina. A 16-year-old star high school football player and his 3 buddies decided to hang out one night in December. There were no parents there, but they did invite a girl. Just one girl, they say. Alcohol was served, and later the boys were served with arrest warrants. Take a look.
Today, 4 Western North Carolina high school students accused of rape are scheduled to face a judge. The Henderson County Sheriff's Office arrested these 4 teens: Vincent Curto, Matthew Bishop, Tyler Guerin, and Justin Ponder. They all go to East Henderson High School and face adult charges of second-degree rape. 7 on Your Side's camera rolled as the teens bonded out of the Henderson County Detention Center last evening. Investigators accused them of raping a 16-year-old girl during a house party where alcohol was involved. It allegedly happened December 8th. The State Bureau of Investigation is looking into the accusations because the girl says the rape happened at the home of one of the accused teens, and his father is a deputy. The deputy was out of town at the time.
Well, one of the boys, Matt, says he had a 3.6 grade point average, and several colleges were ready to hand him a football scholarship until that girl came forward and accused him of rape. Now, here's what Matt says happened that night.
In December 2012, Tyler's parents were out of town. I asked my parents if I could spend the night at Tyler's house. My dad said no. I begged and argued and ended up being able to. They would not have let me go to Tyler's house if they knew his parents weren't home. Around 5 or 6 that night, Tyler and I called Wesley and Vinny to see if they wanted to come over. Wesley wanted to hook up with the girl, and that's how it all started. Wesley got her number and decided to text and call her to see if she wanted to come over and hang out. She told Wesley that yes, she would want to come over and yes, she would have sex with him. When Wesley and I got back to the house with the girl, we started drinking. I had about 10 to 12 shots within 30 minutes. The girl probably had 3 to 4 shots. Around 10 p.m., the girl took me by my hand downstairs where she unbuttoned my pants and started, and then that led to us having sex. After I had sex with her, she kept on asking for more, and I couldn't give any more. So around 10:30, I went upstairs and I told them that she kept on saying that she wanted more. And that's when Wesley went downstairs. When he came back upstairs, he had the same response as I did, saying that she kept on asking for more and more. I was in a daze, about to go to bed, pretty much passed out, and all I know is Tyler went downstairs. I don't really remember what happened when Tyler came up. I just know that Vinny went down there and tried to have sex with her, but she said no. The girl was very conscious. She initiated the stuff between me and engaged with me first. When each of us were having sex with her, it was only one person with her at that time. There was a picture taken, but I don't know who took it or how it was taken. The picture was of Tyler on top of the young lady. There might have been two people down there because of the picture that was taken. We don't know if it was done off of a timer or if it was taken by one of the other boys. I woke up the next morning and Tyler and Wesley were taking the girl home. When Tyler and Wesley got back, we decided to have a football tournament on the Xbox. We did not talk about the night before. We're really competitive, so all our focus was towards the game. Nothing was said about the girl.
Matt says it wasn't until a picture started circulating around the school that showed one of his friends at the party having sex with the alleged victim that the rumors began.
The party was on Saturday, and during school on Monday, Tyler showed a couple people the picture. There was rumors going around that we used objects and we drugged her up and she was way drunk out of her mind. And none of the rumors were true at all. They were just getting worse and worse throughout the day. The girl was saying that everything was okay and that she had our backs for the rumors. She was also saying that it didn't happen. My parents found out on Monday. Somehow it got to a parent that knew my dad. My mom was crying and screaming that whole night because she was in so much pain. I was so upset to hurt the family in the way that I did. On Tuesday, we got called into the principal's office and he told us that we would be taken out of school. On Wednesday, the sheriff's department called my mom and told them that I needed to be brought in because I had a warrant out for me. I was put in handcuffs. I was fingerprinted, swabbed for DNA. They also took my mugshot. I was arrested and charged with second-degree rape. They had a search warrant for Tyler's house for supposedly the objects that we used. A pool stick and a game controller. They tested 12 pool sticks and 4 game controllers, and they all came back negative for DNA. I'm not a rapist. I had consensual sex with the girl and she wanted to. I've never apologized to the girl because I haven't done anything wrong. In the Bible it says to forgive, but it's kind of hard because she isn't telling the truth.
So the question is, did Matt do anything wrong, or was it consensual sex like he said it was? Now, his parents, Mark and Diane, believe their son is innocent.
Matthew is innocent. He did not rape that girl. The only thing he's guilty of is having premarital sex.
When Matthew was arrested for second-degree rape, along with the other 3 boys, I couldn't believe it. My reaction to him was, how? I just don't understand how it could be second-degree rape. Everything was based on he said, she said. I believe Matthew's account on this situation, 100%. I feel like Matthew is the victim. I think the reason Matthew's story has been blown up is because he's a football star. People like to see big figures go down.
Matt is very good looking. He's charismatic, he's charming, he knows how to talk to women, and he does not have to get someone drunk to have sex with him.
I think that this blew up so fast that the girl was embarrassed and that she ended up going with it to save face. Since the girl initiated the sex, I think she wanted it. And I feel like the girl has a big responsibility in this because when she showed up to the party, she was the only girl. And I know she had a cell phone. If the girl wanted to leave, all she had to do is make a phone call. She may be more responsible for this situation than Matthew.
Okay, obviously, I think you probably heard at the top of the show, even before we started, I told this audience that I take this very, very seriously because this already has and could continue to affect the lives of young people for the rest of their lives. You are now charged with second-degree rape.
Yes, sir.
And you think that is unfair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me why.
She was well aware of what was happening and she initiated it, and I just don't think I should take anything because she was the one that started it.
Did you do anything wrong that night?
No, sir.
Really? There's 4 guys, a bottle of whiskey, and 1 girl. What could go wrong? You say you didn't do anything wrong. And I heard your account of it. You guys went over to a home, and you're how old at the time?
16.
Okay, and what's the drinking age in your state?
21.
Okay, 21. So you say you didn't do anything wrong, but you were committing criminal behavior, you were a minor in possession, and you were drinking alcohol. So when you say you didn't do anything wrong, that wouldn't be accurate, would it?
No, sir.
So your first answer indicates
yes,
that you're not looking at this in an objective and reasonable way. And I want to help you get your story out here, but let's be honest.
Yes, sir.
4 guys get together and you're drinking, which is illegal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then a girl comes over, 2 of you go to get this girl.
Yes, sir.
How much had you been drinking before she got there?
I was sober.
Because she hadn't had anything.
No, sir.
There's 4 guys, a bottle of whiskey, and 1 girl. What could go wrong?
Yes, sir.
What could go wrong here? Do you see
Yes, sir.
what I'm trying to say? And so when you say, I did nothing wrong, that's offensive to people's sensibilities because, number one, you're committing a crime and being in possession and consuming alcohol, and 2, you set up a scenario that is fraught with danger. So can we agree that you did do some things wrong that night?
Yes, sir.
And this is not an admission against interest. I'm no lawyer, but I don't think this is an admission against interest on your part concerning the rape. Did it ever occur to you, this is not smart?
Yes, sir.
You're a police officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you know this looks bad at this level. I'm not saying that means that he raped this girl, but it looks bad at this point. Now, I understand she wanted to come over there.
Mm-hmm.
She came over there willingly.
Yes, sir.
Did you know her before this night?
Yes, sir.
What was your relationship with her?
We had an ongoing, we'd see each other maybe once a month for about 2 months before this, 3 months.
And when you say see each other, what does that mean?
We had sex.
So you had a sexual relationship with her.
Yes, sir.
Was she your girlfriend?
No, sir.
And that was consensual?
Yes, sir.
And you were okay with it, and she was okay with it?
Yes, sir.
Were you friends after that?
Yes, sir.
This is your version of things. I'm not saying that she agrees with any of this. So when you went to pick her up, you knew it was for sex?
Yes, sir.
You say that she barely drank. She only had 3 or 4 shots
Shots that night, yes, sir.
of vodka.
Mm-hmm.
In what period of time?
About 30 minutes.
You're a police officer. 3 or 4 shots in 30 minutes, would that person be good to go as far as driving?
Oh, not driving, no.
Okay, so they would be legally intoxicated if they had 3 or 4 shots of alcohol in 30 minutes, then got in the car, got pulled over. They would fail a breathalyzer.
Yes.
So they would be legally drunk.
Yes.
So by your definition, she was legally drunk.
Mm-hmm. I don't. She knew exactly what she was doing whenever we engaged.
Well, according to your father in the law, which in this case is the same, she would not have been sober. She would have been legally drunk if she had the 3 or 4 shots that you say she had in the first 30 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you had
10 to 12.
10 to 12 shots.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's take a break. And coming up, Diane says she thinks Matt's alleged victim just wants attention. We're going to find out what Matt thinks when we come back.
Before the incident, the girl and I had somewhat of an ongoing sexual thing going on. I had sex with her probably 2 or 3 times before. How do I say feelings. It was like we hooked up and then it was over. I guess her feelings were still there because at the party she started with me first.
I do the boys are suffering or that she is causing for the boys. I feel like she is actually getting a little bit of a thrill out of the fact that she has got this publicity. I was following her Facebook page because she was friends with Matthew for quite a while after this had happened. And she kept gaining friends, 20, 30 friends per day after this incident had occurred. So I felt like she was milking it for the attention that she was receiving.
Okay, Diane was just talking about the girl accusing her 17-year-old son, Matt, of rape. You have this encounter during the evening, right?
Yes, sir.
And let's see what we can agree on, because there are probably some things we don't agree on. Mm-hmm. What we can agree on is that you were at an unsupervised gathering.
Yes, sir.
And that's a bad idea, and you guys didn't endorse that.
No, we did not.
In fact, he's said quite candidly, if either one of you had known, he wouldn't have been there.
No.
Right.
There were 4 boys, 1 girl, and a bottle and a half of vodka.
Yes, sir.
That in the first 30 minutes after you picked her up, she had 3 to 4 shots of vodka, which by any definition would mean she's now legally drunk. You had 10 to 12, so you certainly are legally drunk at this point. And then you say what happened that got you involved with her sexually. Who initiated that?
She took me downstairs and started to unbutton my pants, and then that's when we started having sex.
Mm-hmm. And then you are there for how long?
Probably 30 minutes.
Okay, then you go upstairs and essentially recruit another boy. You say, I'm unable to go any further, and she wants to continue. So you went up and announced that to the other 3 boys.
Yes, sir.
With that report, who goes downstairs?
Wesley goes downstairs.
And has sex, and then he comes back up how much longer?
Probably 30 minutes, 15 minutes.
And he says what?
The same thing, that she's wanting more.
Okay, and so now who goes down?
About that point, I was laying down, and I could hear, as that I thought, that Tyler went downstairs and had sex with her.
All right, and you didn't see either of them have sex with her, but they went down and came back up and gave a similar report to you. The 4th boy goes down but doesn't have sex.
Yes, sir.
Then who takes her home?
Early that morning, about 7 o'clock, Tyler and Wesley take her home.
And nothing is said the rest of the weekend?
No, sir. We were playing a football championship thing.
Did you get a text from her? Did you talk to her?
No, sir. I stayed in the couch upstairs.
Is that normal that after you've been with her, you would not get a text from her the next day, or you wouldn't text her?
She wouldn't normally text me or anything.
Okay. So then Monday, when was the first time you knew that rumors were going around?
Monday, second period.
Second period?
Mm-hmm.
And you just heard it in the halls, in classrooms?
In the
Somebody
halls
told you?
and from my friends.
How did anyone know? There were 5 of you there. There was the girl and the 4 of you.
There was a picture shown around.
And who took the picture?
I don't know. I wasn't down there when the picture was taken.
Who showed the picture?
Tyler did.
Was it on his phone?
It was on his phone.
So there was a picture taken on Tyler's phone,
Mm-hmm.
and so Tyler was showing the picture around.
Yes, sir.
And was it a picture of him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So somebody took the picture, not Tyler, or it was on a timer.
Yes, sir.
And that started a flurry of rumors.
Yes, sir.
Did you contact her at that point?
I seen her, and she said that she was denying all the rumors and that it didn't happen, and she had our backs.
Mm-hmm. Were you scared?
Yes, because there was things of her saying that she was going to the cops, and she really wasn't, and then it ended up that she did.
The fact that she was willingly drunk and you were drunk just doesn't excuse this.
Girls have sex being drunk all the time.
You found out about this how?
I found out about it on, I guess it was a Tuesday night, about 11:15, 11:30. I was on, I'm in the Air Force, and I was on active duty at that point in time. A buddy of mine had called me and said, hey, this is what I've heard, so, you know, you might want to talk to Matthew.
Why is she doing this if it happened exactly the way you say, which I'm not okay with? But if it happened exactly the way you say, why is she doing this?
I don't think it was her. I think it was her dad that is pressing the issue.
You said in your tape, I know God says that, the Bible says that we should forgive, but it's hard for me to forgive her when she's lying. But you've now just said she doesn't want to do this. She isn't actually wanting to prosecute this. This is her father pushing it. So why would you be upset with her?
Just because she can stand up for herself and say, yes, I did do this, and yes, this happened, instead of backing down from her dad.
Did it ever occur to you that night that you were way out of bounds here?
What do you mean?
That you were at an unsupervised party and you knew your parents wouldn't want you to be there. You were drinking. You knew your parents would not want you to be drinking. You were drinking to excess. You knew they wouldn't want you to be drinking to excess. You were giving alcohol to an underage girl with whom you were having sex, and that they wouldn't want you to be doing that. Did any of those things ever trigger in you that this is a really bad situation and I just simply shouldn't be here?
The days after, before anything had happened with the police, I was like, that was really stupid of me to put myself in a situation like that. And I really regretted doing that.
And you were drunk. We've agreed on that. And she was drunk. We've agreed on that. Even though she was willingly drunk and you were drunk, just doesn't excuse this.
Yes, sir.
I asked that question of my Twitter followers, and people got upset at even asking the question, let alone offering it as a defense.
Yes, sir.
You know, someone in my research department decided, I'm going to ask the question, is it okay, what about girls drinking and having sex? People said, oh my God, you shouldn't even ask that question, let alone offer it as a defense.
Yes, sir.
Girls have sex being drunk all the time. So if you're going to go ahead and say that every girl that's ever been drunk is, you know, been raped, then that is unfair. That is not true.
Well,
not
but
how society
you're setting up a paper tiger here, Diane. We're not saying, nor is every girl that's ever had sex while they were drinking or drunk saying that they were raped.
Yeah.
But you now have a girl that says, I was given alcohol, I got drunk, and I wound up having sex with 3 or 4 boys and did not want to.
But
That's rape.
She chose not to have sex with the last boy. She chose to say no to the last boy. She wanted to have sex with the first 3 boys. Matthew was the very first one out, and I do believe if he had not been the very first person that had sex with her, that he probably would not even had sex because of the situation. But the girl did say yes to 3 people and no to the 4th person.
It's not only guys out there raping girls. Girls can rape guys.
My problem with this is, why is she not accused of rape? She started with him. He is a boy.
Closed captioning provided by Now, both of Matt's parents think their son is innocent, and not just blind parent love. They have a basis for thinking that he's innocent.
I guess whenever you look at this situation, you've got a girl that is saying that she was unconscious because of the alcohol, but she can plainly restate what happened that night. I passed out. I woke up. Matthew was on top of me. I passed out. Ponder was on top of me. I passed back out. Tyler was on top of me. I passed back out. And I mean, now, just in the statement alone, that's kind of, when you're trying to think of, okay, well, was she unconscious? Because how did she keep waking up, and how did she know clearly what happened that night?
She had 3 or 4 shots, and you say she is not a reliable historian because of that, right? If she was drunk and supposedly passing out, then how can you treat her as a reliable historian about what took place, which is a good and valid point.
Right.
He had 10 or 12 shots. So how can you regard him as a reliable historian? If she is disqualified with 3 or 4, how is he not disqualified at 10 or 12? That's the problem with that.
My problem with this is, why is she not accused of rape? She started with him. He is a boy. Why is she not?
Why does it always have to be the guy or the athlete that is doing that? And that's where our society is today. People like to see people go down. But, you know, it's not only guys out there raping girls. Girls can rape guys.
Well, listen, that, as ludicrous as that may sound, certainly anyone can be exploited sexually.
Right.
But you and I both know that the real answer to that is that boys are generally bigger and stronger, have the ability to impose their will on a woman much more so than a woman can impose their will physically
Right.
on a male. And so that's the answer. That's the answer to your question.
Right.
And I'm not
I mean,
saying
I
that your son
understand.
raped this girl, Mark. I'm not saying that at all.
He did not rape this girl.
No, I'm not. Listen, Diane, I'm not saying that he
Okay.
did, and I'm not saying that he didn't. I'm saying he made some really stupid decisions.
I agree with
And
that.
fortunately, you don't go to jail for being stupid. You want to know what she says, right?
Yes, we want the
and
truth.
Listen, we made gargantuan efforts to get her here. And in the absolute last minute, we were able to get her here. Now, while we let her settle in, I want to shift the conversation a little and talk with a teacher who says the decline in public education is out of control. Our country, in my opinion, is the best in the world in so many ways. If I got a hill to climb, I want to do it. But families, core values, our principles, our education system are all under attack, which is why I wrote my new book, We've Got Issues, How You Can Stand Strong for America's Soul and Sanity. It is time we push back. Now, Laverne is a 4th grade teacher in Massachusetts who says students are performing 2 to 3 grades below what they should be doing.
Public education is doing a disservice to a lot of kids. The eradication of social studies and civics has dumbed down entire generations of students. Learning a 2nd or 3rd language should be mandatory as early as kindergarten. I don't know when we stop teaching about money, but let's get back to that, and finance, and credit. So why are kids struggling? What if I told you it was by design? Whoever had the best scores and raced to the top first at a certain deadline got the funding. The decline of public school education. We're tired. No one cares. No one's listening. We're also not getting paid what we're worth and what we deserve. We're being micromanaged and tied to curriculum that's trash. Being bullied and threatened makes you not want to teach. Teachers don't have a love of children or a love of the profession. Kids don't want to be here. Teachers don't either.
Thank you so much for being here. You say students are performing 2 to 3 grades below where they should be, and you're teaching 4th grade.
Yes, sir.
So they're falling behind in a fast hurry.
Yes.
Why is that?
Well, I believe there are a few issues at hand. A lot of children aren't in preschool. A lot of families don't always value education. And then kids also have a lot of external issues going on, whether it be homelessness, poverty, relationships, divorce going on in the home. They're not always there emotionally or available to learn, so there's a lot of factors at play.
Is anything being done to address this, to support these students in a way, or are they just being progressed on through the system?
Many of them are being pushed on to the next grade level. I know for me in my school, we have wraparound services. We work with community organizations to help the students. I know in my classroom, I have small groups. We have intervention to try and pinpoint reading deficiencies and math deficiencies. We have coaches on hand to help the students and help new teachers sometimes have strategies with these students. But as a whole, a lot of kids are getting pushed on to the next grade level. A lot of students are several grade levels behind.
I've written a new book, We've Got Issues. And I was doing research for this book and was so shocked. I found that 30% of 5th and 8th graders basically can't read. 19% of high school graduates can't read at the most basic level. And so I thought, well, all right, how is this working out when people get out in the world? 45 million Americans read below a 5th grade level. They have trouble reading instructions for a prescription that they get at the drugstore. And in 2022, scores for 9-year-old students declined 5 points compared to 2020, is the largest average score decline since 1990. And math, the last 10 years, there's been no improvement. So whatever we're doing isn't working. People always hear me say, how's that working for you? In math instruction, it ain't working at all. And in 2022, scores for 9-year-old students declined 7 points compared to 2020. It's a first ever score decline. So we're just sliding down the hill.
Absolutely. So we're getting back to the science of reading. We're getting back to phonics. We're getting back to phonemes and blends. We're getting back to old school ways of learning how to read, basically.
Okay. And let me ask you something. When I went to school, we had a grading scale. 90 to 100 was an A, 80 to 90 B, 70 to 80 C. And I saw a Facebook post, so we talked to the person and verified this out of a school in Southern California. When did this become the recommended grading standard, is what it said. I guess my kid doesn't have to work so hard anymore to get an A, because now A is 84 to 100, B, 64 to 84, C, 44 to 64, wow. D, 24 to 44, and F, 0 to 24. So when we look at this now, a C is 44 to 64. Are they inflating grades this much?
That's insane. I know for me, I teach in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and that's not our grading scale, so I can't speak to that. Where I work, where I teach, and where I live, an A to A plus is still a 90 to 100, a B is still an 80, a C is still a 70. Anything below that, a 60 is a D, and then failing is 50 and below. So
the statistics are clear. Students are making higher grades and learning less nationwide.
Absolutely. Well, I know my husband teaches high school, and a lot of times when a student does no work, they'll force the teacher to give a 50. When a student fails a class, you have to go to summer school. Well, what happens when you fail summer school? Then you go to night school. What happens when you fail night school? You go to credit recovery. After credit recovery, you either drop out or you have to go to some alternative program. So it's like they're trying to tout their graduation rates, but they're not trying to make the kids actually do the work.
How does this prepare the child to compete in the real world?
It doesn't. Not at all. I work with kids, helping them get into college, and they can't read. A lot of them can't write. They can't get ready for an interview. They can't hold a conversation. Technology definitely has decimated a lot of this. Their phones, their iPads, they think that they're going to get quick money payout. They get rich quick to become a content creator instead of going to college or being educated. There's just no real value placed on education for a lot of kids and families these days.
Well, a teacher that was much wiser than me about reading, I heard her say one time, in grades 1, 2, and 3, you learn to read. After that,
you read to learn.
You read to learn. Mm-hmm. So if you don't get those skills in the first 3 grades, you don't have the tool to master material after that. And
Absolutely.
So it's going over your head.
Absolutely.
Now, I made a graphic out of some things that you said that I thought were really just a good, down-to-earth plan for getting students back on track. You said, number one, acknowledge that the kids are in a tough situation, but they've got to meet you halfway and
Absolutely,
try.
absolutely.
I thought that was so important. And you said small groups, and you can focus on reading and math. Work one-on-one with high-need students. And I thought this last one was so important. Bring parents in for stat meetings.
Yes, sir. I try to be welcoming. I try not to be intimidating, and I let them know I'm your partner. I'm here to help. And if we don't attack this issue right now with your child, 5th grade, 6th grade, and 7th grade is going to be a lot harder than I am. And I'm rigorous. I'm tough. I have high expectations for every student, but I want to meet you where you are and help you in any way I can.
And you're going to hang in there, right?
Yes.
Promise?
Well, we'll see. I hope so.
Well, come on, we need you. We need you.
We'll
And
see.
listen, I've said a million times, I am such a fan of teachers. We don't pay teachers enough.
Amen.
We don't show them enough respect. We don't appreciate them enough. And I don't know a teacher that doesn't get in their own pocket
Yes.
to come up with resource materials for their classes
I have.
to do things. And God bless you. I am a huge teacher fan. Not a huge teacher union fan, but I am a huge teacher fan.
Right.
So I'm so glad that you're here shedding a light on this. And I talk about it in We've Got Issues because it is important. It's the future of our country. This is the generation that we're going to turn things over to.
That's right.
And if they can't read, if they don't understand science and math, we're not going to be competitive as a country.
Not
So
at all.
we need you. You're important, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back. Closed captioning provided by